A 2022 longitudinal study of 312 intimate partner violence survivors found that 78% reported intense emotional attachment to their abuser despite severe abuse. The attachment wasn't predicted by how bad the abuse was. It was predicted by the abuser's pattern of alternating cruelty and kindness. If you've ever felt unable to leave someone who hurts you, then suddenly felt desperate for their affection when they're nice, you're not weak. You're neurochemically hijacked. Today we break down the science of trauma bonding and the exact steps to reclaim your brain. Trauma bonding, a powerful emotional attachment formed through cycles of abuse and intermittent positive reinforcement, was first described by Patrick Carnes. The mechanism is intermittent reinforcement, unpredictable rewards delivered on a variable schedule, the same principle that makes gambling addictive. When an abuser alternates between devaluation and love bombing, a manipulation technique where someone showers you with excessive affection to gain trust and dependency, your brain learns that relief and reward only come from them. A 2022 study in psychological trauma confirmed that attachment strength correlates with this unpredictability, not abuse severity. The bond forms because your dopamine system, the brain's motivation and reward circuitry, becomes hyper-tuned to the abuser's occasional kindness, making the relationship feel like your only source of safety. Intermittent reinforcement triggers dopamine surges far larger than consistent rewards. When the abuser is cruel, dopamine drops, creating craving. When they're kind, dopamine spikes, reinforcing the bond. This creates a neurochemical addiction. Your nucleus accumbens, the brain's reward center, rewires to prioritize the abuser's approval over your own well-being. Leaving triggers genuine withdrawal, panic, emptiness, obsessive thoughts, because you're cut off from the dopamine source your brain now depends on. Simultaneously, gaslighting, a manipulation tactic where the abuser denies your reality to make you doubt your perceptions, damages the hippocampus prefrontal cortex connection, impairing your ability to trust your own memories. A 2024 fMRI study showed gaslighting reduces connectivity between memory and reality testing regions, making you rely on the abuser's version of events. Your confusion is not a flaw, it's a predictable neurobiological injury. You might notice, you replay the good moments obsessively while minimizing the abuse. You feel physical anxiety when considering no contact. You initiate contact after silence, not because you want to, but to stop the withdrawal panic. You defend the abuser to friends who express concern. You believe this time will be different after every apology. You feel guilty for setting boundaries. You experience intrusive memories of their kindness during attempts to leave. You isolate from supporters because the abuser framed them as toxic. You apologize for things you didn't do. You feel like you're crazy or too sensitive. These aren't character flaws, they're symptoms of a brain adapted to survive unpredictable threat and reward. High empathy, pattern recognition, and cognitive flexibility, traits common in intelligent people, actually increase vulnerability. Empathy leads you to rationalize the abuser's behavior, they're hurting. Pattern recognition makes you spot the cycle and believe you can predict or control it. Cognitive flexibility lets you reframe abuse as growth opportunities. Research shows narcissists target conscientious, agreeable individuals precisely because they'll work harder to fix the relationship. The abuser's intermittent kindness exploits your brain's prediction error learning. When reward arrives unexpectedly, dopamine signals important, remember this. Smart people generate more elaborate justifications, deepening the bond. Understanding this removes shame, your strengths were weaponized against you. Recovery means redirecting those strengths toward your own protection. First, subtle, you monitor their mood to regulate your own. You feel relief when they're not abusive, not joy when they're kind. You rehearse conversations in your head. You apologize preemptively. Second, escalating, you cut off friends who criticize the relationship. You hide the abuse's severity. You believe you're the only one who understands them. Third, severe, you've left and returned multiple times. You feel you cannot survive without them. You've lost access to your own preferences, values, and memories. Fourth, critical, you experience physical symptoms, insomnia, digestive issues, autoimmune flares when attempting separation. These stages map to the brain's deepening dependence on the abuser for dopamine regulation. Recognizing your stage tells you what level of support you need. Stage 1 needs psychoeducation, Stage 4 needs crisis planning and trauma-informed therapy. The narcissist's fragile self-esteem, masked by grandiosity and inflated self-view that depends on external validation, drives them to secure supply attention, admiration, compliance. Their manipulation isn't personal malice, it's a defensive structure. They devalue you when supply wanes, then love bomb to resecure it. This cycle isn't about you, it's about their inability to self-regulate. Gaslighting serves to destabilize your reality testing so you cannot challenge their narrative. The trauma bond forms because your brain, seeking safety, latches onto the only available relief source, their intermittent approval. Meanwhile, a 2026 study on childhood maltreatment memories found survivors' accounts remain remarkably stable over time, validating that your memories of abuse are reliable, even when the abuser denies them. Your brain was hijacked by a survival mechanism. The abuser exploited a vulnerability in human neurobiology. First, implement the gray rock method. Becoming emotionally unresponsive and boring to deny the narcissist's supply. Research shows reducing emotional reactivity starves the reinforcement cycle. Second, document everything: dates, conversations, behaviors. This counters gaslighting by externalizing reality. A 2024 study recommends written records to rebuild hippocampal prefrontal connectivity. Third, seek trauma-informed therapy, or somatic experiencing, to process the neurochemical withdrawal and rewire reward pathways toward safe, consistent dopamine sources, exercise, creative mastery, secure relationships. Fourth, build a recovery tribe, at least 3 people who validate your reality without judgment. Fifth, expect extinction bursts. The abuser will escalate when supply drops. Prepare safety plans. Sixth, practice reality anchoring, daily grounding exercises. 5-4-3-2-1 sensory technique, to strengthen your trust in your own perceptions. Recovery isn't linear, it's neuroplasticity in action. A major 2026 study challenged the myth that trauma memories are unreliable. Researchers found survivors' accounts of childhood maltreatment remained remarkably stable over decades even when emotions were high. This applies to narcissistic abuse. Your memories of what happened are trustworthy. The abuser's denial is a tactic, not evidence of your confusion. When you doubt yourself, remember, the neuroscience of gaslighting shows your memory impairment was induced by their manipulation, not an inherent flaw. Your brain adapted to a hostile environment. Now, in safety, it can heal. This research empowers you to stop gaslighting yourself. You don't need the abuser's confirmation. Your memory, your body, your instincts, they were right all along. Trauma bonding is a neurochemical injury, not a moral failing. Your brain did exactly what it evolved to do: survive unpredictable threat by clinging to any relief. Now you understand the mechanism, you can work with your biology instead of against it. Healing is possible. Your reward system can rewire. Your reality testing can recover. You are not broken, you were hijacked. If this helped you, share it with someone who needs to understand this behavior.